Am I still in? Okay, I am. Little hand puppet here. Hi, everybody online. I'm Tim. I did it anyway, Pastor, even though you told me not to. It is really a privilege, honor, joy to be here with you. We've known you for many, many years. And when Kurt was Kurt 1.0 or Kurt the Greater, or whatever you call him, when he was here, we were in high school together. We were in the same youth group in Oakland. And so he would not let me come up here and speak from the pulpit because he said, you know all my dark secrets. So at that time, Frank Riley was a youth pastor, and he heard that, and he says, well, come into the youth group and tell them the story. So if you happen to have been in that youth group back then, and so you maybe heard some of the stories, but anyway, we were good friends, and the one story I'm going to tell you is that there was Kurt, myself, and Brian Wheely. Now we're all in ministry. Brian and Kurt were pastors. I'm a missionary, but back then, Kurt's dad had a Cougar, Mercury Cougar, and it was a convertible. So we drove around in the convertible and cruised the strip, and we got our old phone and cut the cord off and put it in the car, pretend we had a car phone, and we drive around. Then we go up to some pretty girls. We said, hey, the call's for you over here. So anyway, we were just horsing around, and that's as far as I'm going to go with that story. My wife told me I can't go any. There's a second part of that story, but I'm not allowed to tell. So anyway, it is a joy to be here, and I have been serving the Lord in Africa for many years, but I want to just talk very briefly on how I came to the point of going or serving Christ. I grew up in high school. I grew up in the church. I loved church. I accepted Jesus Christ at the Mission Springs, the Covenant Campground down in Northern California, Southern California, excuse me. No, this is Northern. I'm a Northern boy, so anyway, I accepted the Lord there. But I grew up in, and the picture I always pictured myself as is, I love going to church. Church was there for me. And that's how going through high school. I loved the fellowship, the activities. We had a great youth group. But it was after I graduated from high school, which I barely got out of high school. All my friends did well. I was the dumb kid in our youth group and just got out with the skin of my teeth. Literally, it was just like really close. And so everybody else went off to universities, colleges, and I just stayed home, worked for my dad in construction, and didn't think there was much left about what I could do or where I could go or anything. And then the cross came into the story. The pastor was talking about the cross over here or over here. Where's the third one? That's what I want to know. Anyway, the pastor was talking about how they took nails and jammed them in his hands and then pounded them through and in his feet. And it just hit me like, that really must have hurt. Okay, I was more like, ow, that hurt. And I could not imagine Christ doing that for me. And it was like, why would you do that for me? I'm a nobody. I have nothing to give back to you. And yet he loved me so much that he would do that for me. And so it was at that time I said, Lord, I really have no idea what you could possibly do with me. But my life is completely yours. Take it, do with it as you want. If you want to strike me dead now, that's fine. If you would just put me into your service, I just want to serve you. And at that point on in my life, my whole desire has been to give, to serve the Lord with all my heart. And it was so funny because I went to the pastor, and I don't know what you, Pastor Kurt, would do. Some high school kid came and he says, I want to serve God, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what you would tell him. You'd probably say, what was that? I have a great plan for you. The pastor we had, he was great. And it was a perfect answer for me. The closet over there has a vacuum. Go vacuum out the church. And I'm going, yes, I can do that. It was so tangible, and I needed that tangibility. And I was able to get out the vacuum, clean. I was cleaning windows, cleaning churches, and I did that for like a couple of years. I was like the go-to guy in the church. If you needed anything done, just ask for Tim, say, the Lord wants you to do this for me, and I would do it. Literally, I would. I was just on fire. In fact, the church head church deacon, came up to me one day and said, they need a builder in Alaska. Now, technically, I mean, if someone came up to you, like, you're a young man and says, they need a builder in Alaska, I would come up and say, would you want to go? Right? That would be the way to do it, right? He had the ticket in his hand. He says, you're going. And he handed me the ticket and says, okay, I'm going. I mean, that was how well the church knew me as to serve the Lord. And so I went to Alaska, and I was there for 6 months and did some remodeling and put a roof on the Covenant Church in Fairbanks, Alaska. Any been to Fairbanks? Few. The church there at that time in Fairbanks, Alaska, was a flat roof. To this day, I don't understand why you would put a flat roof on a church in Alaska. I don't know. But I had to put a gabled roof on it. So I did work up there, and then I came home, and I just was on fire. I was living in Oakland, but I had a lot of relatives down in the valley, and I said, my cousins need to hear about Jesus. So I rode my bike over to the valley and was sharing about Jesus over there. And then a missionary came to our church in Oakland, stood up in front and says, we need a builder to build 2 churches in Congo, Africa. And I was sitting in the front pew. I always sat in the front pew. I've digressed a little bit. Now I'm sitting in the second row back there because I married my wife, who's not as spiritual as I was. But anyway, sitting in the front pew, and I heard this, and I'm thinking, man, I could do that, and that would be so cool. But a missionary, I'm not good enough. I mean, like, missionaries have to be really holy. The halos have to be polished. They just take them off every night and polish them. It's like, I'm not good enough. That was my thought. I was right there, and I thought, it was like, that's really just too bad. I'm just not good enough. I got after the service, I got up, and about 15, a dozen, 20, I don't know, people came in and says, Tim, we're sending you to Africa. And I'm going, okay. So off I go to Africa, and it was, now I'm going over here. I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I'm working the crowd, right? Sort of. You're not laughing, even though you have a mask on, but I can see you're not laughing. But anyway, so I go to Africa, and I'm telling you, I'm in Africa serving my Lord. There could not have been a more higher moment in my life than to step off the plane in this humid, I mean, literally, when you got off the plane, it was like you hit a brick wall of heat and humidity. But I was like, I'll suffer for Christ. I was excited. And it was actually the second morning I was there. I had played my favorite card. I put the card out. I'm really good. I made it trying to get everybody to like me. I really flopped. You can just ask my wife how bad I flopped, because she did not like me at that time. But I had devotions at night, and God told me, you're not there to get people to like you. You're there to love people. And so I said, okay. I was like, okay. I'm in my little shack. They really put me they called it the goat shed. That's where I was sleeping. And I was sitting there, and I said, Lord, I don't know who I'm going to meet, but as soon as I open the door, the first person I'm going to say is, I love you. Guess who it was? It was Helen. I opened the door, and there she was doing laundry, and I'm going, Helen, I love you. And she goes, what? And then we got married the next day, and No, it took a while for her to warm up to the idea, but it was actually pretty quick. But anyway, I fell in love with her, and we got engaged. But then she told me the thing that she had been called, and I don't even understand. I don't even know how this works. But she knew in 9th grade that she was going to be a missionary in Congo. God had called her, had picked her, selected her, told her, because I guess he selected me too, long before the beginning of time, that I was going to be a missionary in Africa. But he actually told Helen in 9th grade, and left it for a surprise for me, but told her that she was going to be a missionary. So when I asked her to marry me, she says, yes, I want to marry you, but are you willing to be a missionary in Africa? And my response was, look, all I do is want to serve the Lord and marry Helen, which kind of fit together. So I said, it's okay with me, I'm okay. So we got married, but I actually at that time, because I was there to build 2 churches, I did build 2 churches in the 1 year I was there. But at that time I said, but I don't want to just build churches, I want to build people's lives. And I had no clue how to do that. So then I came home, and next thing I know, the covenant's saying, we'd love to have you come back, but you have to get a degree. Now, I really told you, I really, sorry, Judy, my English is really bad. That's an English teacher over there. It's like, okay, I'm just up front. I don't speak English, I communicate in English. I got that from my wife. And she's the only one laughing at that. Well, okay, good. So they said I needed a degree from college to go to be a missionary. I was like, what? So literally, it was seriously, you've heard the stories. Lord, I just want to serve you. I'll go anywhere in the world. Just don't send me to China. Don't send me to Africa. Mine was, don't send me to college. I am not a college student, but Lord says, okay, we'll see how well you like it. So off I go to college. My wife, fortunately, I'm married, so that was a big plus, but went to college and did my 3 years at Moody Bible Institute in 3.5 years. And it was so funny because the one class I failed at Moody was personal evangelism, where I'm supposed to go out and, missionary doesn't know evangelism. Okay. Sad. But we finished that, went through that, went out to Africa, because I still didn't get the degree. We went out of short-termers, started discipling. I found the passion for discipleship. That is like, that whole concept of discipling was, God did that for me. I know you think it was for you, and the pastor think, oh yeah, no, but he did that for me. That was me. The way he created me was to make disciples, but I believe he probably did that for all of us. We're all called to make disciples, right? But I saw that, it's like, that's what I was made for. That's what I want to do. And so he went and made disciples. God blessed that time. But I still had not gotten a degree, so I could not be a career covenant missionary. So I came back to the States. Helen and I said, I think we'll just go to a different mission agency because I am going to go get a degree. This is not going to work. But we got back after that, and they said, no, you don't need a degree. Go to seminary for a year, get to know the covenant, and then head back out to Africa. We want you out there. You're doing a great job. It was very encouraging. Go back to Belgium for French, which I never succeeded in that, by the way. Parlez-vous français? I got that part down. And the other part, no. But in the middle of the French, I had cancer. I came down with cancer. I had testicular cancer, came back, it was malignant. It had spread into my lymph system. They took out 84 lymph nodes, the spots where the cancer had spread into. 84! The doctor said, there's no way you're going to go back to Congo, Africa. There's no way. And so they went, did the operator, cut me open, pulled out all these lymph nodes. They studied them, looked at them, came back into the recovery room, and the doctor says, I don't know what happened, but it's all gone. There was no cancer. I never had to do radiation. I never had to do chemo. God is faithful. And I'm still, today, 40 years later, saying, why me? I'm not even a good English speaker. But God uses us where we are, how we are, when we say, send me. Go, I'll go for you. I'm the one. You died for me. You bought me. And I want to go and serve you no matter where it is. So God sent me there, and we've been there for 40 plus years. God has blessed the ministry. We have developed right now we're on 4 discipleship centers, which are campgrounds and centers that are growing. It's been exciting to see. And so just really a blessing on that. And so the passage I want to read today is Hebrews 11. You guys know that passage? Hebrews 11. The Hall of Fame, the men and women that are made righteous by their faith, meet people that gave up everything, lost their lives. Going back to Daniel, to Abraham, all these people that walked with a faith in God and in Jesus Christ. And then at the end of the chapter, it says, which I find very interesting, it says, and all of these, I'm not reading the whole list of names. There's a whole list of people. There's the whole list. Read it, go home and read it. Hebrews 11. And it says, all of these, having gained approval through their faith, having all of these have gained approval through their faith, did not receive what was promised. That's a very what? They talked about these people being torn asunder. People who were put to death by the edge of the sword. They died. They lost their children. They suffered for Jesus Christ and God. And it says here, they gained approval through their faith. They proved their faith. They did not receive what was promised. So even for us, we've been over there for 40 years. We've given our lives. God gave me a promise over there that he would raise up Congolese disciples that will go into the other parts of the world to serve him. And I was thinking it was going to happen while I was there. But it didn't happen. But I know it will. I don't have a bit of doubt about it. Because afterwards, the next verse, it says, they did not receive what was promised because God had provided something better for, who do you think it said there? For God has provided something better for, what's that? Me, us. That's it, not them, but for us. Has provided something better for us. The future. The people that have gone after us. The people, the Congolese that have gone after our ministry over there. They have provided something better for us. So apart from us, those people that have gained approval through the faith, apart from us, they would not be made perfect. So we are continually completing the work that God has began at the beginning of time. We are the ones going on and going further. So Helen and I, we have officially retired from the covenant mission, but I am not done yet. I know I'm not done yet. Are you done yet, honey? I'm still going to serve him until I die or until he comes back. Whatever comes first. But we are doing it I am helping make it complete for those gone before me, and those after me will make it complete for the rest of us. We are in a team, the body of Christ. And we're not talking about just here in Simi Valley. We're not even talking about just the Christians in America or in the world. But through all eternity, we are a team. We are a living team serving Almighty God. We are all in this together, serving Him. And so, as this church body, and you have been part of our ministry, you have been part of the success, the people that have come to Christ, the 200 pygmies that received Christ from a very small testimony that I gave. You are part of that. You are giving us, you are praying for us, you are giving us for that. So you are part of that ministry. And we are part of your ministry. We are your staff in the world. As Joanna, you guys heard from, last week? 2 weeks ago? Hayward? Last year, okay? So, you're a part of her, and she's a part of your staff. The people you minister with, that we're all working together. And we need to have that image in our hearts. But then the question comes up to us, who will now go for us? Who is the next generation? And that's what I would like to encourage and leave with you this morning. The call, give of yourselves. Christ gave everything that we might have life. He bought us. Let's be obedient. I thank Tanner for the great music that we had there, but, it's a trust and obey. We have to trust, we have to have faith, but then we have to be obedient. We have to go. So I pray even this morning that there will be people from this church that will continue even the work and ministry in Congo that we started, that God will complete it in His time. The work is not yet done. The Lord has not yet returned. It was probably because of the malaria medicine that I was taking. What was the name of that malaria medicine I was taking? Malarone? Anyway, it gives you really vivid dreams. And so this one night I dreamt. I mean, it was like so real. I dreamt that the Lord returned. And the rapture was happening. People were leaving, and I'm like, "Oh, He's back!" And I'm running. It was actually Jacob's ladder. I don't think the Jacob's ladder is going to be there, but anyway, it was in the dream Jacob's ladder. So I go, "Okay, I'm going." And then as I was going, I see somebody had stumbled and fell, and so I bent down to help him up. And as I bent down, I picked up, and the ladder was gone. I got left behind. And it was like I woke up with that. And it's like, well, wait. I mean, you have to understand. I don't know if you guys ever been on drugs or whatever, but it was like really vivid, and it was like very disconcerting. But then afterwards, I said, "Okay, Lord, even if it means that you want me to serve you after the rapture, I am there for you. It's not what I want." But I am there. All I want to do is to serve my Lord. My victory is in heaven. I look for nothing on this earth. Death is a victorious celebration for me. It was so funny. I tell my family, I told my kids, I've told everybody, if you hear that Tim died, don't cry for me. That's not going to be a song about Argentina or anything. But don't cry for me, because I am in heaven. I am in heaven. And don't cry for my wife because she got left. No, she's going to be in heaven eventually too. Even my kids, we're all going to be there for all eternity. For this moment of brief breath that we take here on earth, all eternity will be in heaven together. There is nothing sad about that. There is no sting in death. There is none for me. And so I talked that, and then we were in a armed robbery in Cameroon. These guys broke into our house, and he had a shot-off shotgun and put it right in my face. And I'm looking at the sawed-off shotgun in my face, and I'm going, okay, I'm a little bit afraid. But then I said, no, Lord, if I'm going to die today, He's going to hear about Jesus Christ. And so I just started preaching to him, and he ended up not shooting me, so that was good. But my point is, I just want to love and serve my Lord Jesus Christ. And even in this retirement that I've come to, and because of health reasons, because my body is failing me, and because of that, if all I can do is vacuum out the church like I did at the beginning, I will praise my Lord because I'm still serving my Lord. I will still pray this: Lord, I don't know what you can do with me, but my life is yours. Amen.